What's up, bikers? I'm Robert, and this is the B1KER Bar Podcast live stream episode 113. I know that this is the midweek, early in the morning, not the normal time, but maybe it works out better for some of you somewhere that you can actually jump in and watch this one. And if not, you can always catch it online and watch it on YouTube or listen to it on the podcast. This is kind of an exciting show today. This is our first international podcast that I've done. I think that's kind of rad. There's actually another one coming up in a few weeks too. So that's neat to be broadcasting with somebody on the other side of the planet right now. That's pretty cool. Anyways, if you guys could do me a favor and swing by my Instagram, it's at B1KER, so B1KER B1, and give me a follow over there. It makes me happy to see those numbers rise, and you guys can get some cool little tidbits about the channel and what's going on for free. So you can do that on Facebook if you're over 40. Otherwise, you got the Instagram, get after it over there. If you guys haven't subscribed to this channel, hit the subscribe button. It means a lot. Same thing with the thumbs up. I mean, every YouTuber says it and it gets redundant to hear, but honestly, it helps keep me motivated. And I really enjoy seeing that number rise as well. If you guys are listening to a podcast, do me a favor, write a 5-star review. That would be awesome. Those are fun to read. Last time I was on there, though, I haven't seen one since like December. So one of you guys could be the one that actually goes out there and writes the review. That'd be super cool to see. So I'll swing by maybe in the next couple of days and see if one of you guys did it. That'd be cool. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started because today is going to be a short show. So I'm going to bring George back on. How's it going, George?
Hi, Robert. Thanks. Everything good here in Vienna?
Everything's going good there. So I was saying this is international. You guys are in Austria, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Tubolito is a Vienna-based company. So we're based in Austria, in Central Europe. So for me now it's 7 p.m. time. Yeah. But I'm really glad to be at the show. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So 10 a.m. here and 7 p.m. there. That's pretty rad. So and it's you guys are in the middle of your ski season over there then, huh?
Yeah, actually now it's skiing season. That's true. So a lot of people like skiing in Austria. So we do have the Alps as a really skiing paradise.
Yeah, I've been over there. I skied in the Arlsberg area. Yeah. It was super rad. It was like I remember going there and one of the guys, we had like rented an RV and we were just hanging out, drinking beers after skiing all day. And one of the guys that we met was like, you could ski a different run every time for like a week and still not hit everything.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of nice slopes here.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Do you ski too, or you just ride bike?
Well, sometimes I do ride a snowboard, and sometimes I tried ski mountaineering. So yeah, but actually I prefer riding my bike. That's true. Yeah.
I hear you. You and me both. So a couple years ago, I bought new skis, and then I didn't use them for like 2 years. So we have good weather here in Northern California. So you're the marketing PR guy for Tubolito. Can you tell me how you guys got started?
Yeah, of course. So Tubolito was founded in 2016, and it was founded by two former colleagues, Akash and Christian. They were colleagues before founding Tubolito, and they worked in a loudspeaker industry. So probably you might ask yourself, okay, what does a loudspeaker have to do with a bicycle inner tube? Because Tubolito produces bicycle inner tubes. And there I come to the point that within loudspeakers, there is a membrane, and this membrane needs to be very light, very robust. And it's made of a very special material. It's called TPU. And Akash and Christian, my colleagues and the founders of Tubolito, they had the idea, okay, this material is really strong, it's durable, it's light. Actually, all these things you need, or you want to have at a bicycle inner tube as well. And yeah, they did some research, did some engineering, and found a way to manufacture a bicycle inner tube made of this material. And that's basically how Tubolito, or the idea of Tubolito, was born. Back in 2015, the idea arose, and 2016 Tubolito was founded.
That's pretty crazy. I've seen the product on the market for a while, but I would have never guessed that it had something to do with coming from like loudspeakers, that industry. But when you're explaining that totally makes sense, because I mean, obviously that has to be a membrane that flexes a lot, constantly.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. And if a membrane in a loudspeaker breaks, basically the loudspeaker cannot be used anymore, so it needs to be really reliable. And as Akash and Christian, they are passionate cyclists themselves. They thought, okay, that would be a good idea to make a bicycle inner tube of.
So were they into mountain biking, or were they into road biking, or?
Well, they were more at mountain biking.
Oh, wow. Okay. Because there is I think on the website, it says that your membrane is also like a lot more puncture resistant than the normal one.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the good thing about our tubes, that basically they combine a lot of advantages. So they're very small and light, but at the same time, they are very robust, and especially against punctures, they are very robust. So it's quite unlikely to puncture with one of our products, much more unlikely than with a standard inner tube, although our products are way lighter. So they combine a lot of good things.
And then, so you guys have several products as well, though. So you have tubes that are for road or like gravel bikes, and then also mountain bikes. But you have, if I remember correctly, it's like different weight classes or something like that, or what's the difference in the products that you guys offer?
Yeah, exactly. So we started with the mountain bike tubes, but right now, after almost 6 years of Tubolito, we basically cover all bicycles that you can imagine. So we do have products for road bikes, cyclocross gravel bikes, but also what we call non-performance bikes, just like cargo bikes. So with a cargo bike, you don't really care about being faster or having a very light bike, but you just want to be safe on the street and don't have a flat tube. So basically we do cover all these bikes. But apart from having products for all categories, we do also have different product lines. So as the material can be really optimized for different use cases, we found that it makes sense for us to have, for example, a tube for road bikes. So one product line which we call the Tubo product line is more or less optimized for a very high puncture resistance. So it's very unlikely to get a puncture with it. It weighs about 40 grams, our tube, so it's way lighter than rubber tubes.
What's just for like people that don't know, how many grams does like a regular tube weigh?
Well, a regular rubber tube for road bikes is about 110 grams. So
wow, so it's like over half the weight.
Yeah, less than half weight actually. Yeah.
Oh wow, so that's crazy.
I brought some for all people that are also watching the show. So that's like a standard inner tube for road bikes. So it's like about 110 grams, and this is our Tubo road product, which weighs around 40 grams. So like you see, it's way smaller.
Yeah. So for people that are listening, the one that's the regular tube in his hand, it looks like probably about the size of a baseball because it's rolled up, like how you would roll up a tube normally. And the other one that's rolled up is not much bigger than like a ping pong ball. So it's like really a big difference in the amount of space that it's going to take. So whether you're like somebody in the comments mentioned it's perfect for a hip pack, or like even on a road bike, like having it in the little small tube compartment, or like the specialized bikes, they have the little cargo spot. I can't think of it, a SWAT box, So
exactly. Yeah. But although this product is very small already, it's twice as robust against punctures as standard tubes. But then we thought, okay, there is people even like looking for more performance and having an even lighter and smaller tube. So we came up with a even smaller and lighter product line. We call it the S-Tubo product line. So you can see it's even lighter. So S-Tubo Road weighs only 23 grams.
Yeah, this other one that he's holding up now looks like it's about the size of between like $1 and $1.50 for us American people. I don't know. It's pretty small. So that one though is still more puncture resistant than a regular tube.
Well, that's concerning punctures. It's the same resistance as standard tubes, but obviously you save a lot of weight, a lot of space in the saddlebag if you carry a spare tube. And also the rolling resistance is very low. So there is some people really paying attention to rolling resistance, especially road cyclists or time trial riders that want to, be the fastest on.
So you said 23 grams as compared to just roughly about 110 grams is that one.
Mm-hmm.
So, and where people, I'm sure some people are like, well, how's the tube affecting rolling resistance? And essentially what you're talking about is weight of the wheel, right?
Yeah, the weight of the wheel, but also the rolling resistance. So it's the rolling resistance is there's a lot of like the tire is very important for rolling resistance, but also the tube. Even though it is within the tire, it's still important, and it's a big difference if you use a standard inner tube or our product. So you see that you can save watts using our product compared to a standard rubber tube. So,
is it something other than the weight that contributes to that? Because that's like, can you explain that? I'm not sure how. I'm having a hard time understanding that.
Yeah, I mean, frankly speaking, I'm not a technician here at
Yeah.
so I can't give you the perfect physical details on how that works. But yes, it's something different than the weight. So it depends on how the tube flexes. So we see that a soft material does have a little less rolling resistance as a not as soft material. So it depending on like if the wheel goes and the material bends or needs to roll. It's
basically
better.
because it's like less, because it's more pliable, then it's like less friction or less like energy that's used to move the tire. So that helps as well, is kind of what you're saying then.
Exactly. That helps as well, and also because of the wall thickness of our tubes, and especially from the S-Tubo product, is very, very low. So it's a very thin product that helps as well. So there's less material that needs to flex when the wheel rides. So that also helps to keep the rolling resistance low.
Yeah. That's really interesting. So that one you said weighs like, I want to say you said 23 grams, 25 grams.
Exactly, it's 23, depending on the wall length. But
what was the regular one? How much did the regular one weigh?
The regular, like our regular one, the Tubo rod, depending on the wall length, it's around 40 grams.
So like if I was getting a mountain bike tire, it's about 40 grams then for that tube.
Well, the mountain bike, our mountain bike products, they weigh a little more because obviously the tires are broader.
Right.
It depends if you're choosing S-Tubo mountain bike or Tubo mountain bike. So Tubo mountain bike is around 85 grams, but you get the double puncture resistance. And S-Tubo mountain bike is around 45 grams, depending on the wheel size you have, if it's either 29 or 27.5 inch. And then you.
But I mean, either way, it's still like considerably lighter than what you would be carrying otherwise.
Exactly, it's very light. Saves a lot of space in a saddlebag. Because
don't you have? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that especially for mountain bikers, our product, or they really like our product because of the pack size, because a regular rubber MTP spare tube is really huge actually. So you almost need a backpack for carrying it.
Yeah.
But our product is so small, you can just put it in the pocket, carry it with you, and then you're safe.
Yeah, it is super small. I just recently had to buy a new tube for my bike because whenever I use tubeless, obviously, mountain biking, but I always carry an extra tube because those moments happen,
Yeah.
And lo and behold, the last time I tried to use it, it had a hole in it. I think I must have used it too many times, or we must have pinched it whenever we were putting the tire on or something like that. So I had to replace it. And I was looking at your product, and it's so small. I don't even feel like it wouldn't make sense to use my strap that I use for the tube.
Yeah, actually, especially S-Tubo MTB is already too small for being used with a strap, because you actually can't really tie it to the bike anymore. But
I feel like my strap would go around so much that the Velcro wouldn't hold. So it would it would have to be re-engineered to actually hold your product on there.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And I think you guys have, don't you also have a like the stem removed somehow or something like that?
Exactly, yeah. That's for S2 MTB, where we also thought, okay, there is a lot of people carrying a spare tube. And as I mentioned before, what they are really looking for is the small pack size, but they want to have the tube as small as possible. And what we figured is that it was also useful to have a removable valve stem, because our tubes are already so small that the valve stem is actually the biggest part of it, and to have it very like to achieve the smallest pack size, we made the valve stem removable, so it's even smaller and easier to pack in a backpack or
So is that like a certain line that has the removable valve stem, or is that all of them?
No, that's just a certain line. That's just S2 MTB, designed for the smallest pack size. So
that's the thin one as well, then.
Exactly, that's the thin one.
Okay. So if you want the removable valve stem, you have to buy the super light one. But if you want the regular valve stem, then get the other one.
Actually, I do have one here also, so I can show it in the camera. So you see that's S2 MTB for 29 inch. So you see it's a very, very small tube, and usually all our valves are orange as well. But for S2 MTB, it's a black valve extender, and you can just unscrew it, and then the pack size is even smaller. So you don't have to take care of the valve. You can just unscrew it.
Yeah, the valve. So people that are not watching, there's like a little bit of an orange, like the tube itself, all their tubes are colored orange. So if you've seen them online, if you've seen an orange tube online, it's theirs, because there's nobody else that has that. And then the stem itself was most of it was black, but there was a smaller part on the bottom that was still orange. So I would assume that orange part would though be inside of your rim, so you wouldn't see it.
Yeah, you hardly see it. It's basically inside the rim, and it's just where you can screw the valve extender on.
So does that like when you're buying for a mountain bike, most of my listeners are mountain bikers, but I'm sure a lot of them as well road bike or cross or something like that as well. What, like, is there different sizes, like for a smaller tire, or is it basically like one mountain bike tire is good up to like 2.6, or how are they sized?
Well, regarding the tire width, we do have basically two products. So the one I think fitting for most tires is made for width from 1.8 inch until 2.5 inch, and then for all tires being broader than 2.5 inch, we do have the Tubo MTB Plus, and they are made for tires from 2.6 to 3.0 inches. So depending on the width you need, you can choose between two. And the reason is because the material the tubes are made of, it's very flexible, and it can stretch easily, but there is a point where if it stretches too much, the material gets really thin, and it could get more likely to be punctured or a little bit more fragile. So we thought, okay, we make two product lines, and for the Plus tires, the product is broader, so the material doesn't need to stretch that much. So that's the
right.
It's two.
I usually carry a 27.5 tube on my bikes, just because I don't they're lighter. And even if I have a 29-inch wheel, I'll just carry a 27.5, because you can usually just stretch it on there. Can you still do that with your product, or is it gonna not, like, because usually I'm just using it to like get out of a pinch, right? I just need to get back to the car or whatever. It's not like I ride tubes typically. So would that be okay for that?
Well, we do not recommend it, because it's easier to mount a 29-inch tube in a 29-inch wheel, but still, it depending on the wheel and the tire width, it can be possible. So if you like want to try it, then actually I think it can work, especially if it's just like an emergency tube that you want to mount and just get home. I think in most cases it will work. But basically, if you want to be on the sure side, we recommend choosing the right tube for the right
Right,
way.
right. Totally. I understand what you're saying there. So that totally makes sense. Do you guys think that you're gonna make a product to like put it on your bike somehow? To like carry it? Like something where you could just, strap it to the bottom side of your seat or something like that.
Yeah, actually, there are some thoughts regarding this because we get this question quite a lot. So people say, okay, it would be like a perfect product if there is some kind of strap or some kind of small bag. So we do have some ideas, and
Working on that. Huh?
Maybe some combination with a pump or the cartridges that you can use or tire levers. So actually, it's a question we get quite a lot because it's. Yeah, as you said, like the normal tube straps are not really working for our products.
Yeah, no, it's just like way too big. So I mean, if I put even if I was to put like let's say I took my tire levers, I wrapped your tube around my tire levers and put a CO2 on my frame. I still think the strap would be too long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's just like your tube is that much, it's that small. It's really it's really kind of, it's crazy to see how small it is comparatively to anything else. And you guys don't really have anybody else that's in the same market as you, other than like, it's pretty much everybody else is just using regular rubber, right?
Well, Tubolito obviously is the brand with the most experience, and we were the first having a great product range. I mean, what we saw in the last years is that there are some competitors also having TPU tubes, and because we see that definitely rubber tubes, they have been on the market for a very, very long time. And as like bikes, in all the bike industry, there were a lot of developments from different frame materials, different braking systems. But for bicycle inner tubes, for a very long time, I would say for the last 100 years, there was hardly any new products.
Right.
And so we started all the TPU bicycle inner tube market. And for us, actually, it was not a big surprise that sooner or later there will be other brands also showing interest in having products. But Tubolito obviously is offering most products covering all bicycles, and not even only all bicycles, but also different product types for one bicycle kind.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys sell for 26-inch wheels as well, for like people who like doing dirt jumps and stuff?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, we're offering 26-inch wheels. We see a lot of I think they're called slope style riders and dirt jumpers. So there's some really good riders, and the feedback we got is that they really like the lightness of the wheels when using Tubolito because of all the bar spins they're doing. I think the rotational weight is even more important than riding your bike on ground. If you're jumping and spinning your bar, they say the difference is incredible.
Oh, that makes sense. That totally makes sense what you're saying there. That's interesting. What do you think that is what really sets you guys apart? What makes, obviously, your material and stuff like that. Is there anything else to you guys that you think is like maybe compared to like a competitor that might be trying to use a similar material or something?
I mean, we are definitely a very innovative company. So we always try to have innovative ideas. So last year, for example, we brought a product to market for MTBs, and we included an NFC chip into the tube. So because we got a lot of questions what the perfect tire pressure could be for MTB tubes. And we got the feeling that a lot of people really pay much attention to the tire pressure. We thought, okay, it would be a really nice feature to be able to measure the pressure, but with a very easily. Yeah. So we invented the tube and integrated the NFC chip within the tube, so you can't separate it, and it's in there. But it also means that you don't need any maintenance. So you just mount it as a regular tube, And then you just need to approach your cell phone. You can download a Tubolito app, it's for free. And you just can approach the cell phone. And within a few seconds, your cell phone says, okay, this tube, the tire pressure is that PSI or that amount of bar. So this feature, there's no other company offering this kind of feature.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, and that's only in the mountain bike tires, or do you do that in the other ones as well?
Well, so far it's exclusively for mountain bike tires, but yeah, for future we do also have some ideas on having it for.
Do you think that'd be something that you guys would eventually maybe sell, like just stems like that, to be able to get into like the tubeless market? Because I mean, a product like that I feel like would do really well with people that maybe aren't using a tube, that would really enjoy being able to just pull out their cell phone to see what their tire pressure is.
Well, there is no concrete idea so far to offer stem, but yeah, might be worth thinking, because I mean, obviously in MTB, tubeless is very, very popular, and could be a good idea to offer maybe a set of a Wolf stem for tubeless tires in combination with a Tubolito spare tube. So that's I like it.
Yeah, that would
I will
be
talk to my colleagues from R&D tomorrow. And,
Well, I'll expect my check whenever it happens. So I think I would probably be doing a disservice if I didn't ask, does any of the like tubeless sealant compounds affect that different material differently? Like, do you have to worry about anything with that, like it decomposing the tube or like something?
No, actually, the good news is that the tubeless sealants do not affect our tubes negatively. So you don't have to clean the tires or make sure there is no sealant. So you just can mount the tube, and it works. So
right on.
It doesn't do any harm.
It doesn't do any harm. Yeah, that's good. That's good to know. Do you what do you think are some of the hurdles that you guys have had to overcome to bring your product to market? From like the idea of it just being, you know, a speaker to like actually trying to like make a tube. I would imagine that there's quite a process to go through there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, to be honest, I think the product was very well received from the beginning, because the advantages are really obvious. So I think usually, not only in cycling but in life, you need to make some compromises and some trade-offs. You say, okay, I choose option A, it's better and this and that, but it's worse for this and that. So there's advantages and disadvantages for everything. For our tubes, actually, from the very beginning, it was quite obvious that there is a lot of advantages, not really having disadvantages, apart from the price. So our tubes definitely are more pricey than standard inner tubes.
Yeah, so, I think it was like, I want to say for the mountain bike tube, it's like $30 for a tube, right?
Yeah, depending on where you get it, but it's around $30 to $35, I would say.
Yeah.
So that was, of course, a question in the beginning, if we can offer a tube being like 5 times more expensive as a product that is known. But I think actually I've been talking to a lot of people at fairs and at events, and even though at the beginning some people say, okay, it's a very expensive product for me, I think it's not worth it. But then if you talk to them and explain them, okay, if you compare it to a rubber tube, yeah, it's definitely more expensive. But if you think, okay, you can save on your road wheel, for example, 80 grams per wheel, and that will only cost you 25 euros or US dollars, then people start thinking and say, yeah, actually, if you want to save it on a wheel, buying a lighter wheel, it's not like 25 euros more, but it's hundreds of euros more.
Right.
So that's actually, yeah, an argument that, or not an argument, a reason people also are, not shocked of buying or spending a little more on our product.
Yeah, I could see it on the road bikes or like my gravel bike, like real easily. I can justify the price there, because it's just like what you said. I mean, I know it's going to lower the rotational weight. even on my cross bike, I run tubes most of the time because I switch between I have like skinny tires that are basically like road tires, slicks. And then I have regular gravel tires, and I just use tubes because I don't want to deal with like the sealant whenever I take the gravel tires off or whatever. And having something that would be thinner and lighter, and then still like more puncture resistant, to me, it's like, it's a no brainer. Because like what you said, just like think about the cost of like a carbon fiber seat compared to a regular one. It's like, a regular seat's like $30 and a carbon fiber one's like 170. It's like a huge difference.
Exactly. We did some research at calculating the price of the weight saving of 1 gram on average on a bike. Okay, let's say as you mentioned, a seat. So usually it's it's 120 grams. But if you want a seat for 50 grams, you need to pay that amount of money more. And then it said, okay, we did a research and said how much is 1 gram weight saving worth to the customer. And it's very, very clear that for 25 euros or dollars, you don't get any cheaper weight saving as Tubolitos. So as you said, if you're looking for the lightest bike, if you're a weight weenie, I think it's a no-brainer, even compared to tubeless, because you don't need any sealant, and actually you need more sealant, or the sealant weighs more as our products weigh. So
yeah, that's interesting to think about. I saw somebody mention that in the comments as well, that the tube is lighter than the sealant. It's hard for me, like where I ride, we have a lot of like what they call goat heads. I don't know I don't know what they are. I would imagine you have them over there too, but those things, they just go through tubes like nothing else.
So do you flat a lot with your bikes? Is it an issue?
I don't, because I ride in tubeless, but whenever I did run with tubes, I would get flats pretty regularly, just because you don't know where they're going to be, like on the trail or whatever, or even on the side of the road, like you're just riding. And it's a big problem in the area that I live in, maybe not the area that everybody lives in the US, so but I also
riding over 1 goat head would mean, okay, you're punctured if you're using a tube. So it's
But on the other hand, like, sometimes that you have things like that keep you from considering a product. But if you think about it in like realistically, okay, yeah, there's goat heads, and I ride my road bike on this trail. It's called American River Trail by my house. It's paved, and it's like, like 40 miles long. I don't know how many meters that would be, but like, when was the last time I had a flat? I don't even remember. You know what I mean? So I feel like on one hand that, maybe that's not the greatest, example, but I think for me, it's harder to like justify on the mountain bike, just because, man, I would be really afraid that like I'm gonna flat more. You know what I mean? That, like, I would imagine you probably are overcoming that with your customers as well, right?
That they're afraid they're flatting more using tubes as with tubeless.
Yeah, just because like everybody in general, like when we all went to tubeless tires, we were like, this is amazing, we don't get flats anymore, and then to consider, oh well, I could use this other tube that's way more puncture resistant, maybe, but then my tires would be a lot lighter, which I know for a lot of people, like, not every mountain biker is concerned about weight, but a lot of guys are, and I could see that being an advantage as well.
Yeah, it's there's definitely people that are really, that they love tubeless, and it works for them. So actually we just see, okay, we don't want to convert you for riding tubes, but if you're looking for a small spare tube, so we do have a product for you as well. It's not necessarily only either or, but you can just say, okay, I ride tubeless, but I take the small spare tube. But
the small spare tube to me is like worth a lot, because I do think about, like, especially over the last year or two, for whatever reason, I've shied away from wearing a pack at all. So I've put pretty much everything that I used to carry on in my bag on my bike. So, I have like an EDC pump that has a tool in it, and then I have my tube and my levers and everything. And when I pick up my bike, it's considerably heavy, especially, well, also, like, if I put water bottles on, whereas before my bike was a lot lighter because I was carrying that weight on my back instead, so you could like, maybe the bike doesn't feel as responsive because it's a little heavier, so the idea of being able to cut that weight from the tube it's appealing,
Mm.
Yeah. What do you guys feel like you're spending a lot of your time just trying to educate your customers, like, to understand the value, or like I said, for the road bike, I can see it, like, immediately,
Mm. Well, I think it depends a little bit on which kind of bikers we talk to. So there is different biking styles. So the thing is, we need to think on who we talk to. If it's people riding mountain bikes, but they really like tubeless, so we need to focus on the small pack size of the tube. For road cyclists, they carry spare tubes, but it's more about performance, like at the bike. So we try to communicate, okay, you get advantages from rolling resistance and the lightness of the wheels, so you can climb a hill faster. But I think during the last years we gained some good experience, and what features of our tubes are needed in the different biking styles. And even though it's a tube, and people might think, okay, what's there to explain about a tube? It's obvious. It is. You need to have some thoughts about it, and we need some explanation. That's true. Yeah. But, on the other hand, I think if people are really interested and they're looking for a solution for the problem, let's say, okay, the lightest bike or whatever, so then they find I think they understand quite soon and easily the benefits of Tubolito.
Definitely. Where are they manufactured at? Do you guys make them in Austria, or are they made
Exactly, yeah. Tubolito are made in Austria, so it's really, that's also a big advantage, and it helped during the last years. Because we don't get, or we're not dependent from any supply chains from Asia, so we were able to have them manufactured, and it's
you took the next question right out of my mouth, because I was going to ask how the whole COVID thing had affected you guys, but it sounds like you've been all right with that.
Yeah, actually, I think it was right. Of course, at the very beginning of COVID, I think actually the entire world was kind of in shock, and it was very uncertain on how things will move on. But it soon turned out that bike industry is really doing great, because okay, what can you do if not going out and meet friends and hang around at bars and restaurants? You can just grab your bike and take it for a spin. And so soon turned out that bike industry is doing quite well, and more people riding bikes means more people looking for improvements on the bikes, and then somehow they a lot of them ended up also for the Tubolito. So
did you guys see a huge spike in sales as far as like the rest of the bike industry has with selling bicycles themselves, or?
We saw some really nice interest. So lots of people coming to our website and informing about Tubolitos, and also being very very interested in Tubolitos during the last year. So development was good. We're glad that how everything developed. That's certain.
Where can people buy them at? Is it just through your site, or?
Well, actually, our main retail channel is via distributors and shops. So Actually, in many countries, or in basically all European countries, at least Western European countries and Central and Eastern European countries, you can get Tubolitos at shops, at local shops. Also in the US, we are in some local shops. There is some online dealers also selling our product. So there is big sites, they do global sales, or
so you can find them on Amazon or whatever.
Exactly, you can find them basically everywhere. Yeah, that's
Would there be a price difference between them and going from you directly? Is it cheaper if people go through your website?
Yeah, actually, we don't have any, or we can't tell the online shops to sell it at a certain price. So it might be that there is some discounts or some other promotions, and that you can get it cheaper as the retail prices. Sure. So
have you guys tried to get to be like an OEM for some like other like big bicycle companies or something like that?
Yeah, actually, we are working with some OEMs, and yeah, if you keep your eyes open, you will see some orange wall stems in some bikes already.
There you go.
So we did have some really nice cooperations, and I think the last one, a new Brompton folding bike was announced. So it was released. Actually, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, and it's a very light bike. I think it's one of the lightest, or maybe even the lightest Brompton bike. And yeah, if you watch the pictures, you will see an orange wall stem. So that's just one OEM cooperation. It was the most recent one, but definitely it's some interesting.
Yeah. That's good stuff. That's definitely good stuff. Is there any difference from what you would need to use in like an e-bike as far as purchasing a tube for that, or does it not matter between that?
No, actually, that doesn't matter. You just need to make sure that the dimensions are right, so wheel size and tire width. But apart from that, there's nothing special. There's no special e-bike tube. So all our tubes are e-bike ready, so you can use them.
Yeah. So nothing there then. Do you guys go to any of the bigger events in the US? I would imagine you probably go to what's the big one in Europe, the big bike event that they have over there? Eurobike.
Exactly. There's Eurobike. Yeah, we have been there the last years. So we were exhibiting there, and yeah, it was very interesting to be in touch with dealers and having some nice industry talks. And, we attended already Sea Otter. I think it was 2018. And one of my colleagues went there, and this year there's also one colleague going to be present at Sea Otter.
Oh, okay. So that'll be cool to see them there then.
Yeah.
So I'm in Northern California. A lot of my listeners are in this area as well. So those of you guys that want to see the product in person, definitely go to Sea Otter. That was, I believe it's like right in the beginning of April, if I remember correctly. Something like that.
The beginning of April. Yeah, my colleague will be happy to meet you, of course, and everyone coming to our booth. So yeah, I think attending such fairs is also very interesting for us. Also to get some direct feedback from consumers, from shops. It's very valuable to us to know, okay, what how the market develops, what products are asked, what features are needed. It's a really great feedback that we get.
I think the NFC thing is really interesting. I think that's like really cool, because I know a lot of people are very specific about their tire pressure, and
yeah, actually, I do have a tube here, so I could show you. I prepared one. So that's a Tubolito.
Oh yeah,
and it's the NFC chip. For all guys of you also watching, it's here, so it's within the tube, so you hardly see it. It's located here, and then you just need to imagine that you just like use it as any other tube. You mount it, and then you can just if it's mounted, you can download a Tubolito app on your phone, and then you just need to go and scan, approach the phone.
So basically the receiver is somewhere around where the stem is, so you just get the phone close to the stem,
exactly,
with the app up, and then it brings it up.
Exactly. And then it says on the phone, okay, I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
there is 7 psi. So yeah, it's the sensor is always located close to the valve, because if it's mounted, you don't see it anymore. But you know,
Right.
okay, you just need to approach the phone close to the valve, and then within seconds you get the exact tire pressure that's in it, and yeah.
How does the NFC thing have power?
Yeah, the good thing about NFC is that the chip as such does not have any battery. So the power is from the cell phone. Like the cell phone puts or communicates with the NFC chip, putting the power to the chip. So you don't need to recharge the chip, or it doesn't have a certain lifetime. So it will work as long as the tube works. It's the same technology as with the like debit cards.
Right.
I think many people also use their debit cards. They don't put it in a device anymore. They just approach to it, and then you can pay without needing to put the card in the device. And that's NFC as well. So the technology with NFC chips is known.
Yeah, totally.
And we are the first,
it's super interesting. I think that it's a really cool idea. And I think that, I mean, I don't understand why other companies aren't doing, like other like tire companies aren't doing that. Like it doesn't like, there's so many people that either carry a like electric, like tire pressure gauge, or I know me personally, I would never want to carry a gauge. So I'd always be looking for a pump that has a gauge on it. And now it's like I had to make a compromise whenever I bought the EDC tool, because that wasn't an option. But all my pumps that I carried before always had the gauge in it. It was like really specific, like meant a lot to me, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I think tire pressure is a really important topic for like for MTB. The tire pressure is really important to avoid snake bites, for example. So you need to go with a certain pressure. For road bikes, it's important for rolling resistance. So you need to find the perfect pressure. So it's an important topic. And with our chip, it's as convenient as never before.
Yeah, I would imagine that. Do you guys think that you'll get into like making tires themselves, or do you think that you'll stick with just the tubes?
Well, so far we will stick with tubes. So we don't have any specific plans for tires.
Yeah.
But maybe
valve stems are coming soon.
Sorry?
I said, but the valve stems are coming soon.
Yeah. Tomorrow, first thing in the morning, I will. Or maybe they're listening right now and already prepared.
Yeah, definitely. Is there anything that we didn't talk about that you feel like that you would like to mention?
Well, actually, I think we covered a lot for being a bicycle inner tube.
Right.
A lot of things, and many people are surprised on what features a bicycle tube can have. So
yeah, you wouldn't think that there's that much to be done. Kind of like when you started, you're like, it's a tube, it just works, right? But I think you made some really good points about how it's something that hasn't been refined in so long. And the cost is a downside. It's definitely, it is, but I think there's plenty of plenty of reasons to offset the cost, what you said. So the puncture resistance, the weight difference, logically it makes sense. So I can understand the difference in the price. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I really appreciate you taking the time to get online with me and chat about the product. It's been a lot of fun. We're just about to wrap up here, and I always ask, do you watch YouTube? You watch like YouTube channels?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, I don't spend too much time on YouTube, but I
always ask people at the end of the show what kind of YouTube channels they like to watch, just because it's fun. It doesn't have to be bike related, but it's always interesting to hear what channels people like to watch, because sometimes you find out about some new ones that you haven't heard of before.
Well, frankly speaking, I couldn't really name channels, but what I really like to watch is like sports. So sometimes I just put, okay, epic Tour de France sprints or races, and then I watch what happened. So I really like some sport related things. I really listen to music or watch videos on YouTube. So whenever there is a song I really like, I just put it on YouTube and see the video and like the song.
Right.
Sometimes I just watch funny cat movies if I'm in the mood to.
I used to say, before I had a YouTube channel, I thought that's all YouTube was for, was like watching cat videos. So I didn't.
Yeah. How's your story? How did you end up with a podcast? Actually, what is or
honestly, the reason that I started with a podcast is because I wanted to listen to a mountain bike podcast. And whenever I got on the app and I started looking around, the podcasts that were on there were like all super specific, like talking about grams and professional riders and all these things that really didn't I didn't relate to. I'm not really a person. I've been riding bike forever, like ever since I was a kid. And I rode BMX and I rode, mountain bikes since the 90s. And I'm just not a person that really cares about who's a pro rider, or not really cares about like exactly how much something weighs, or like, what the head tube angle of that bike is, and what that means in a like a super specific way. For me, it's like, I want to know, oh, this bike rides really good on this terrain. And so whenever I would get to listen to some of these podcasts, they just were, it was too, like, it just got in the weeds too much, and I was like, you know what, I want one that's more of a fun conversation of getting to know who the product, like the company is, or what makes them different, or like how they started and things of that nature, and so, because of other podcasts that I listen to that are not bike related, and because there was nothing out there, I was like, well, then I guess I'll just do it myself.
Great. Well, that's the right approach. If you're not satisfied with what there is, you need to do it by your own, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I would imagine that would be the same way that your company started. It's like, hey, this is not satisfactory. I think this can be better. And that's basically, what you guys did. And I feel like that's what I did. So I don't know. Maybe some people want to hear all the weights and the measurements. And, I'll talk about that stuff a little bit, but it's just not something, like, I'm not a highly technical person, and I'm more about, my first like real world kind of experience with things. I know, just like, for example, how many times have you looked at a bike online and you read all the measurements, and you're like, oh man, it has to have the like 65-degree head tube angle, and I want this reach, and I want this, and you find this bike and you think it's perfect and it's got the best color and everything, and then you go ride it and you don't like it at all. You just, like, numbers mean, they look great on paper, but they don't always like mean the same thing whenever you're actually using it.
That's true. Yeah, you need to.
So yeah. Well, either way, like I said, I really appreciate you being on. Anybody that's listening to the show, if you have any questions that you want to throw in the comments below, go for it. I'm sure I'll do my best to answer them, or maybe the guys from Tubolito will check it out. Otherwise, give them a look, man. The link is in the show more, or in the notes for the podcast. You can go hit it up, or you can just go to tubolito.com. So it's TUBOLITO.com. It's pretty much just spelled phonetically the way that you would expect it. If you're looking around for a tube on Amazon and you see an orange one, it's there. So there you go. That'll be the way to check it out. Do me a favor, like I said at the beginning of the show, if you guys haven't given me a follow on Instagram or Facebook, that would be great. Really appreciate it. The thumbs up on the video here, that would be awesome as well. And don't forget about that subscribe button, because it makes me happy, and I like being happy. So if you guys don't want to do anything that costs you any money or any extra steps, that's pretty cool. Just walk away with one thing, and remember, it only takes a bike to be a biker. So get out and be one.